Okay, so we are going to discuss the upper body cleanse today using powerful Ayurvedic techniques of Kunjal Kriya and Jalneti. And Vikas is the inspiration behind this webinar today. And
Oh,
Vikas has been doing this. Vikas, like I do Jalneti, I've done Kunjal Kriya, but that was like way back when I was myself dealing with sinus issues. I used to have terrible sinus congestions when I was in college. And I actually joined a 15-day naturopathic program, which had yoga and yogic practices, these Ayurvedic practices. And believe me, I mean, the allopathic doctors, when they looked into my nose and area, they were like, oh my God, you have so much congestion. But they didn't do anything about it. They couldn't. So, and then I joined this naturopathic program. And in 15 days, I was like, I could see the healing happening. And, but there was a dietary element also associated. I used to eat a lot of choco bars in India, ice cream, a lot of jalebis, a lot of samosas, literally like almost one thing or the other every day. And that was the root cause, right? So when I joined this, they told me, okay, we had this, we are going to do a cleanse. And they told me, get off everything which is processed. So I stopped all of this, and there were few more items that they stopped, like rice. And the only thing with preservatives I was having at home, imagine what was it? Tomato ketchup, tomato sauce. And now the list is endless, right? So I stopped that. We never used to take bread. My mother just was against bread. And I lost so much weight, and my sinus congestion completely cleared out. And Kunjal Kriya was part of the practice, and so was Jalneti. But Jalneti, when we come to Jalneti, we'll discuss this. When I've asked my son to do it, even now, when I did Jalneti after so many years, I actually found it gave me problems because there was some water, always something retained. So we will discuss that part too. So that is the important thing. When you do practice, there are certain things which we have to, take care of. So yes, Vikas is going to guide us. I will put in things wherever. And so Vikas, please, thank you for
yeah.
joining us. Thank you
Yeah.
for the inspiration.
Thank you, Chavi, and thank you everyone for joining. I was actually not expecting many people to join. I was thinking that like this may not be necessarily of interest to a lot, and so I'm really pleasantly surprised to see that so many of you have taken the time to join. Now, I am by no means an expert, but I have done it enough number of times, and I think it is simple enough to where anybody should be able to do it. So unless you have some problems associated with heart, or like anybody is pregnant, or anybody has any of those things which are not, I mean, like if we're not in a normal health, I mean, maybe we can check on that. We don't need to discuss specific health things, but if everybody assuming that is in a normal health, then we should be all good. I mean, and this is a pretty simple kriya. So, I mean, even if you are not able to perform, I mean, the body will expel the water anyway through the natural process. So
So
Kunjal,
Vikas, which
yeah,
one are we going to start with?
Kunjal, and we'll start with, I mean, and that's the order it has to be followed. I mean, like, so Kunjal Kriya is the Kriya where you basically, you're kind of like drinking the water and then expelling the water, right? So you induce vomiting, so to say. And, and I,
Therapeutic vomiting.
yeah, therapeutic vomiting. And I used to do it when I was a kid, and then for many, many, many years I didn't do it, and until recently, then then I became very regular. So it just goes on and off. I mean, but now, especially if you feel at any time that, oh, I ate all these things and I need to cleanse my thing, because normally I eat healthy, but then like, oh yeah, we had that dinner and we ended up eating all these things. So by doing this, I mean, you will kind of just feel like you reset yourself. So anyway, so without going into too much detail, let's just so the process will be very simple. I mean, we'll basically I mean, we'll go through the process in the morning, but I mean, we'll just have to have the water, warm water. I mean, lukewarm is what I use. Lukewarm water ready, and and you can I mean, I would sometimes just keep it on the stove, lukewarm at a very low flame, just so that it doesn't cool down. And then you can, according to your comfort level, I mean, you can keep it as warm as you feel. I mean, it doesn't have, definitely not hot. And then in terms of the salt, we add salt to it. And one interesting thing is, I didn't know that we have to always add sea salt. But in between, there were times when I started taking the rock salt, the pink salt, and I started using that, and then I realized that there's something doesn't look right, and then I read up on it, and I found out that it has to be sea salt. So I hope everybody has the sea salt at home, and if not, I mean, you may want to get that. I mean, I normally get it from Costco. They sell the sea salt.
Right.
And so, in terms of how much salt should we add, I mean, I typically use about 1 tablespoon for a liter. I mean, although the recommended is about 1 tablespoon for half a liter, but I feel like a liter is comfortable. I mean, so it's okay. I mean, if you go slightly up or less, I mean, that's not going to hurt you. People even do without salt, but I mean, with the salt is much easier. And
no, actually, you should put, if you're doing kunjal, you should do salt, and I'll tell you why. Because there are two things happening. Salt reduces the secretion of acid in your stomach, so that is one reason. And secondly, it also helps in dissolving the mucus. So if you have a mucus issue, salt will be helpful. In Jalneti, salt is optional if you are healthy. But if you have a kapha issue, even there, the salt is required.
Right. And also, I think in Jalneti, I mean, I know we will be using the salt as well, and it actually makes the water to be a little bit more in sync with your system inside, rather
Correct.
than
Because because cells, there is an exchange of fluids in the cells happening, the cell walls. So the osmosis, the osmotic pressure is such that there is no disturbance of exchange of fluids happening. So it just goes in and does its job for the reason that you're doing it. And that is why salt is important over there. But if you are okay, if your health is fine, I was reading, on one of the yoga texts that I have, then gradually you should actually move to room temperature water. And traditionally, it's called Usha Pan. Usha Pan. You just take the water in your palm, and the first water that you drink from your nose, that was traditional form of Jalneti. So in that, there is no warm water, there is no salt in the water. But that is again if you are in okay, balanced condition.
Right. I mean, I'm hoping everybody has. I mean, I have the traditional, the one I got from India, but
yes, me too.
Some form of
same.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
And this is the one that the option that is sent, but I've never found this good. Yeah. See, Sri Lakshmi also has this. Maybe you find it comfortable, but my children find this better.
That's right.
Than this, but I found this more comfortable.
So,
everybody here has it. Has all the. If a Jalneti, you need this. For Kunjal, of course, you don't need any of the apparatus. Special, just a glass. So everybody here has it, right? Just thumbs up.
Well, I mean, if you don't, maybe you can still probably get it from Walgreens or something, probably, or I don't know, from Walmart. You may get. I don't know. I've never tried.
Yeah, this is Prashant. I don't have one, and I plan to get one. Which brand would you guys suggest, or any brand is okay?
Well, the way Shavi was showing, I mean, I think that's a popular one, the one in plastic. But I mean, otherwise, I would go to Whole Foods. If you have a Whole Foods, they may sell a ceramic one.
Yes.
I mean, that was
ceramic pots, neti pots.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't have one. I'll buy one from Whole Foods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too, don't have it.
Nilima,
the one I have.
No. Okay. Have you
the one I have, and Chavi also has, that is Nilam Med. If you have not done this at all, this is the first time, that just makes it so much easier. I think once we get used to Nilam Med, and then it will be probably you will have this courage to pour the water in your nose yourself using the native part. I think for beginners, probably Nilam Med is the best.
Better
I think, yeah,
option.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can try that. I think that should be in the Walgreen. You should be able to get it probably. That one, right?
Do you get a smaller one? Because I have done this 20 years ago. I used to, I had gone for a camp and they showed us, and I remember, I don't know where the pot is now, but it was much smaller as I remember. Like yours looks big. Yeah.
This is half a liter. I think it takes half a liter. But you will get in the Whole Foods one is normally smaller. I have seen.
No, this I got long time ago. I don't know, when we were in a camp, we bought it from in a yoga camp. We had
Right.
gone, and then they did this demonstration, and then we bought it. And I don't know what happened here 20 years ago, so I don't know where it is. It
Yeah,
must be
initially,
under somewhere. Yeah,
initially
it
when I
was
had done, it was very small one.
very small, right?
Yeah.
And I think, did it
It was
have
in
any?
plastic actually that time.
Yeah, small. And then did it have any wire or something? I can't
No
remember.
wire, the side
No,
outlet.
it has a spout.
Yeah, that was there, but
This.
it's like more boat shape, horizontal, more of horizontal.
Oh, right. I've seen photographs.
20 years ago, I think
Yeah,
me too,
yeah,
same.
that's, yeah.
Okay.
But how
Yeah.
about the one with the that in olden days I heard that they would do it with the palm, take the water and I don't know.
Yeah, that's when we reach a little more advanced. Let's start with what Sri Lakshmi said, maybe with this, then graduate to this, and then finally end with palm. Usha Pan.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would suggest. I mean, that makes it easier because otherwise, anyway, it may be sometimes challenging for some people. I mean, it depends on how clean your system is inside. So in the beginning, sometimes it may not even go through. That's possible, right? I mean, it may take some time.
Okay.
But we'll go through that. So the process, the basic process will be, we'll basically, I would say about 3 liters of water is what I would warm, and because that includes both Kunjal and Jalneti, right? And we'll do Kunjal and followed by Jalneti, and you'll see why. Because when you do Kunjal, you will even have water coming out of your nostrils. So it's kind of, it is already preparing you for Jalneti, kind of, right? So it's one round of cleaning would have already been done when you are taking out the water. Now, the process is going to be pretty straightforward in terms of the steps. It is just that some people may feel a little bit anxious, just kind of thinking that, just that whole feeling of like vomiting, right? I mean, like nobody likes to do that vomiting. And now you're trying to force it or like induce it. So, but once you do it, then you will be fine and you will feel really, really good. So for sure. And so what we'll do is, the process will be pretty simple. As I said, you'll have the water ready, and then you'll drink as much as water you can. And everybody may have different capacity, but ideally, to the point where you feel like almost like throwing up. That you just cannot take any more water. And I would normally sit in the squat position and drink as fast as you can, because you want to not let the water go too much inside. You want to take it out while it is still in the stomach. So for that reason, you want to drink it fast, but it's okay. Some of it goes, that's fine. It's not going to hurt. It's at the end, it's only water. So once you drink the water, in that position, then the process is, you have to be in a place where you can expel it, obviously. So I normally do it outdoors. You can do it in, so that way it's kind of a little bit of an open area, but you can definitely do it indoors as well. And by the time we do it, there will be daylight. So, from my perspective, so at least I'll be I'll be outside. And the other thing is, I guess, you just, we'll do it in a certain position. I mean, you bend yourself forward and then you use your middle finger and the index finger.
Yeah.
And you just, right? You just basically, you rub on your tongue and you try to, go as inside as you can, right? I mean, you're basically rubbing into the tongue and you rub as far inside as you can take. And you will, the water, and you will feel the water gushing out. And, when the water is gushing out, of course, I mean, you let it come out. And it will not all come out in one shot. So then you repeat that process and you will know when to stop. And even if you stop a little bit early, that's okay, because the rest of the water will just come out through the natural process. I mean, it's not going to hurt. But you will, if you keep doing it, I mean, you will, at some point, the water will stop coming out and you'll know that, yes, I mean, that you have pretty much taken out most of the water. That's the short version. I don't know if Chavi, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to add that so it's important to be relaxed when doing this. The more relaxed you are, the easier it will be for this. So don't be tensed in the beginning thinking, oh, I have to drink so much water. Just do it in a relaxed way, the whole thing. Just drink and then stand and then put your whichever finger, these two, as Vikas said, this and this, and rub the back of your tongue, and it will induce the water to gush out. So yeah. So that's it. And just another thing, just a little bit behind. So our upper body, most of the kapha, the upper body is the seat of kapha. Kapha is like, all these congestive issues. And the middle is the seat of pitta, and the lower part of our abdomen, the upper body, the chest hole is the seat for vata conditions. So we will come to vata later when we do shank prakshalan and, but now we are addressing the kapha conditions and some part of the pitta conditions, which are here. So the conditions that are helpful, first and foremost, congestion, which all of us face. We have so many questions related to cough, right? Cough and congestion seem to bother all of us. My own son is like, younger son has congestion. So for a long time, I keep telling him, do kunjal. He won't do kunjal. He has this mental block. So many of us adults also, we have mental block. So this is the biggest reason why kunjal is not so common. Jalneti is still common. We never hear of kunjal kriya. So the first thing is we have to get over is this mental block.
Right. And in case, let's say the worst case, that you are unable to do it, I mean, there's nothing that's going to hurt you, right? I mean, it's just that you had so much water, so you just don't drink water for several hours after that, and that will be fine. So you don't have to, you're not going to lose anything. So it's not like, oh, now I'm in trouble, right? I mean, so you don't have to worry about that aspect, but it will come out. I mean, it's not difficult. Just in case anybody is unable to, and not able to get over there.
So who are the people who should not do it? I want to highlight that. And Vikas did mention heart conditions, but there are more. So in addition to heart, people who have weak intestines, who have maybe celiac or small intestine problems, peptic ulcers, they should not do this unguided. They must do it under the guidance of a practitioner, a guru, who's preferably self, in person, in a center. Then people who have hernia and high blood pressure.
Yes.
And even those who have brain intracranial pressures in the brain, they feel pressure in the brain, they should not do it. Who've had suffering from stroke, recent stroke issues, they should not do it. And diabetics with eye problems, they should also not do it. So this is not, again, to reinforce, this is not a platform where we give medical advice. This is mostly for people who have joined here of their own will. And we are just promoting a practice which can be done by the self at home. So there is, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, in terms of advantages, I mean, I know we will probably in the morning, we'll probably keep it short. So the advantages, one of the things is that, like I have used it at times where I was having a lot of cough, right? I mean, this is like, I mean, when let's say you have some kind of infection or something, and post infection, sometimes, I mean, it takes some time for your cough to clear up. And so, one of the things that we do is we inhale. And this Kunjal has also helped a lot, because if there's a lot of cough inside and you do it regularly, then you will be able to, I mean, you clear that so quickly. I mean, and you feel you get such a good relief. You don't have to take any medication or anything. So, and in fact, both Jalneti too. And so that's Kunjal, and then it's the natural process. I mean, you always do Jalneti after Kunjal. I mean, that's
Nilima
recommended.
has a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So how often can we do? If we frequently, like my daughter is staying in dorm now, and she's very frequently getting congestion and cough. All the time she comes, she is with the cough.
Yes.
So how often can we do
For
this?
Kunjal, I mean, recommend, like, well, Kunjal is, we haven't talked about Jalneti, so it depends.
Kunjal only I'm asking.
For
Kunjal.
Kunjal is generally, I mean, once a week is definitely okay. Not a problem. I mean, easily you can do once a week. I mean, and we used to do even more often, but I don't know if they would be motivated to do more than once a week. But if you if you decide a certain day of the week, especially if it's on the weekend, you don't have to worry about having to rush and having to go to a class or anything, right?
Right.
Or to work.
Yeah. So in addition to cough, it also is good for if you have overeaten. If you have gone and you feel you have eaten a lot and it's causing you distress. So if you can wait, ideally, like they say, 3 hours before you can, but even if it's causing too much discomfort, you can do it even before 3 hours, within 3 hours of, eating heavy food. So it will take out all the undigested food from your stomach. So you might be grossed out, but it's going to provide you comfort. Your system will be relaxed, will be comforted. You can even do it when you have worms, if you have to prevent, as a preventative also, worms in the system, if you feel dizziness, headache, and of course upper body, lung congestion, bronchitis, indigestion, loss of appetite, fever also. Apparently you can do this when you have fever, you have bad breath issues. It will help ignite the Agni. Appetite will increase with doing Kunjal regularly every week.
Yeah, but ideally is empty stomach. I mean, that is best. So doing it, that's why in the morning, like, even if you do it a little bit later, I mean, in my case, it will be a little bit later, but I'm not going to be eating anything, so it's going to be okay. And I'm going to, hopefully, my wife hasn't done it yet. So I'm telling her.
Yes. Yes. So everybody here in Pacific time has to wake up at 5:30. Actually, before, because we're going to do it at 5:30. You
So 5:30 will be ready to go. Yeah.
5:30 our time. You will be 7:30.
Yeah, 7:30. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'll be up at much before that. So, but I would say that if you can get your spouses or anybody else, definitely it will make it more fun. I mean, if both are doing together.
Yeah, we are not going to focus the camera on the action practice.
So
probably here. Or maybe, but
okay.
maybe somebody has to see, like maybe Vikas, your camera will be focused on you.
No, that's not an issue. I mean, because at the end of the day, this is all natural process. I mean, there is nothing.
Yes.
We have to feel bad, because in fact, you will, it will be interesting to see the kind of water that comes out, because if your stomach is clean, I mean, it will not be as acidic or anything. But I mean, if it is, you will know how bad of an issue you have. I mean, just by the taste of the water that comes out.
Yeah, if it is color of the water, if it is discolored, it indicates, there are some fermented or whatever leftover food particles, bile or mucus, whatever. But the object is to clean it out, so that ultimately only clear water comes out.
That's right. And so that will be the process, and then the Jalneti will follow it right after that with the Jalneti. And in the Jalneti, the challenge is, I mean, of course, the process is where passing the water. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen the videos. I mean, and if not, you can probably see them beforehand just to get an idea. So from one nostril, your water starts and it comes out from the other. The challenge can be that sometimes, the water just doesn't start coming out, right? I mean, and so it may take, sometimes even a whole minute or several minutes. I mean, and it may just feel like, it's not going to come out. So I normally try, if one side is not coming out, I'll try the other side first.
Yeah.
Right. So you try to reverse, because always one side is always more open than the other.
Yes.
And that's natural, I believe. So that's the one thing. It may sometimes be a challenge, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen right at that time. So you may have to just clear the nose even more. But after Kunjal, it is normally should be easier.
Because you have water dripping from your nose, so it's some clearance is happening even with
Right. And the key thing is, as Chavi said earlier, that at the end of Jal Neti, the key thing is to make sure that the water doesn't remain. And so for that, because otherwise, if it remains, you may get headaches or so you want to make sure that you really, really clear that water. And sneezing is, of course, you force the sneezing, but at the same time, there are certain postures, you do, like where you bend forward or even further than forward, if you can, and then you turn your head right and sneeze out, and then you turn your head left and then sneeze out. And so you will see the water will come out in certain angles. So you basically are kind of like inducing different angles to make sure that the entire water comes out. And you give it a little bit, don't skip that step or don't cut short that step, because you want to make sure that it's completely come out. And then still after that, there have been times where, you're going about your day and then suddenly you sometimes there's, water coming out. It has happened to me because I had not cleared it well enough during the morning.
Yeah. And so there are certain techniques, because so your water, it may not just, the water that is retained may not just be a headache cause headache. It can also go to the ears, can cause you ear issue, hearing, problem, discomfort, and you might feel you have a cold, right, after doing Jal Neti. So Jal Neti, maybe warm water again we're going to do, because we're not going to do with room temperature water. And the drying techniques, I was actually a friend of mine gave me a tape. Like he said, you can take like a thread or something or string and put it in your nostril to induce a sneeze, so the water comes out. So the other, consciously, there are practices that you can do for complete drying out. I'll show you. Like, first stand and then close the right nostril. This is my right, and then just do Kapal Bhati 10 times in quick succession. Then other side. This is standing from this side. Next, you bend forward 90 degrees from the waist, and then you tilt your head and do the same thing. Now you're bent, right? And then close one by one, both the nostrils the same, 10 times Kapal Bhati with both. First this side, and this is 90-degree bent. Okay. And then you stand back again. Another technique is you stand straight, and then you close the nostril. And while doing that Kapal Bhati, you bend forward, in rapid, like as you are exhaling, you bend. So again, and then inhale while coming back. So again, because this is very important to ensure that your system is completely dry. So these are the few things. We'll go over maybe this part again tomorrow, but I just thought I'll tell you so you sort of know. So standing, then bending 90 degree, and then standing again and bending while doing the exhale on both sides 10 times each side. And then again, the last part is with both open, standing and doing Kapal Bhati.
Right.
And then Shank Prakshalan, not Shank Prakshalan, Shashankasan. You can end with Shashankasan, if you want to. That's complete, like. So yeah, that's
Yeah, and this is the Jalneti actually is one thing that I remember one time, like one of the yoga gurus had come from India, and I used to have a lot of allergies especially during the spring, and I asked him like, what does he recommend something? What would he recommend like, in terms of the yoga? And he told me do Jalneti.
yeah.
And since then, I mean, I've never ever taken any medication on allergies, and Jalneti would just give such instant relief. And I asked him how many times, and he said, if you have acute problem, you can do multiple times, even a day. That's
Yes.
okay. Jalneti you can do even multiple times a day, but you don't have to. Depends on what your needs are. Like these days, I'm not even doing it once a day, but whenever I feel the need, I just do it. If I feel my nose is blocked or anything, even when you have cough or cold or anything, I mean, you can do that and you feel such a relief.
Yeah.
So
So then you do this squatting or standing over the sink.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
squat or do it over the sink. And yeah, it's the same friend who gave me this tip. He does Jalneti regularly, and he's one of the people who has the best memory. He says, and he attributes that to Jalneti. It
yeah,
is so good for the brain. It removes, not only is it removing the mucus and the pollution that we are inhaling from the nasal passages and sinuses, but it is also helping people with upper body respiratory conditions, and allergies, like Vikas just said. And, like hay fever, eyesight, vision, very good for
yes,
vision.
you're right.
And for the entire ENT system. And for the brain, for people who have migraine, also like it's worth trying. And then other things like tick or Bell's palsy, those conditions are also helped by Jalneti. So excellent for the brain. And when the brain functions well, our whole body functions well.
Yeah,
So yeah, indirectly benefiting our entire body when we do Jalneti.
and I've
And
seen, yeah,
balance between the right and the right and the left nostril, right? It attains, by cleaning out both, we attain balance in both the swar.
right, right, right. The other thing is, I mean, I've seen people and they have claimed that your smells, the sense of smell will improve a lot. I mean, like, where
Yes.
you can, people may say that I don't smell anything, and you'll be able to, smell things where, even a little bit. And that means that you're more sensitive. I mean, your nose is a lot more sensitive in terms of being able to tell the differences, right?
Yeah. And in terms of even mind conditions, since brain is affected, you actually anxiety, depression, all these conditions are also drowsiness. This is also you feel light-headed. Light-headed as in not like going to faint, but you feel light. And as if like cleaned out.
Yeah, and generally, I mean, after these things, I mean, after Kunjal, I mean, it's recommended to not immediately eat. So I would just wait. I mean, although people even eat immediately, but I would just say that keep it a little bit, give at least 30 minutes before you eat, and start with a little bit light, because depends on how much you cleaned it, right? I mean, if you really cleaned it well, then sometimes, I mean, there may be some kind of a lining that inside may be impacted. So you want to give it a little bit of a start with a little bit easy, and then have the regular food. I mean, don't start with the heavy food right after that.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
These are, from that perspective, these are at least safer, and that's why we said let's start with these, because when we talk about the next phase, I mean, that requires a lot more prep and everything, and that can only happen on a weekend. I mean, and I realize that we cannot do that kind of stuff on a weekday. That would be very difficult.
Do you
So
do Sutraneti?
no, I've never tried, and I didn't feel motivated.
I know my father does it, and he keeps telling me to do it. He's given me that thing also, but I have not been able to do it. But after Jalneti, I feel I should try it. Yes, Prashant, you want to say something?
Yes, can the Jalniti be done by a 7-year-old? my daughter has this nose blockage sometimes. So,
If they are ready, my son used to do when he was 5. I
okay.
mean, now he doesn't do it. Now he's 19. When he was 5, he used to do it because he would just follow my instructions, and he used to do with that same plastic one.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah. So I mean, they can easily do it. I mean, if they are willing to, it's up to their. I mean, if you just show them the style, I mean, they will. You just have to convince them. That's what I'm saying. Now it's harder for me to convince him, but at that time he would listen. So from my experience, I would say yes. I mean, I guess I haven't read anything to say why one should not.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And my driver for that was he used to have a lot of allergies, and the doctors were recommending all these medications, and I didn't want to give him any medication, and we avoided the medications by just getting him to do that and then clearing up his. At that time, I didn't realize that food was one of the reasons. I mean, at that time I was not aware of all these things, but I knew that you can get over the allergies through Jalneti. So that's the only thing we used to do. But now I know that yes, that food is a big reason why we get allergies.
Yeah.
What you eat.
Yeah, and once the children, if they have tried Jalneti, slowly nudge them towards Kunjal Kriya also.
Well, I have to get my wife to do it first. I mean, so I'm hoping she will. So I told her,
It's
yeah.
such a mental thing, right? Because we have that idea. Yeah, Sri Lakshmi.
So actually, I don't have any congestion or that kind of kapha problem. In that case, do we have to do? I mean, like for Jalneti, you mentioned all these benefits, right? All the good things. If I don't have such problem, I don't have to do Kunjal Kriya every week or every day like that. Only when I get the congestion, if I do that sufficient, is that a good statement?
Because
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say that it's completely up to you. I mean, even I'm personally not doing it regularly enough. I mean, but once you have done it, then at least you have like a way to take care of it. I mean, whenever you want to. So now, if somebody wants to do it regularly
Practice and
once a week, that's great. But if you, as a just as a like a
okay. Got it.
actually,
Like a preventative.
Ayurveda is more about prevention than
Right.
treatment.
I
So
agree.
having said that, we should always focus on prevention. And one of the reasons why we are having this webinar today is because it is also for me, it is a selfish interest because I want to also be regular in all these things, to do Kunjal on a weekly basis. So maybe we can, I'll put it on the group, everybody, we don't have to meet in the morning on a webinar Zoom meeting, but we'll say that, okay, we are all going to do Kunjal together today, in the morning. That way we'll motivate each other.
It's a good motivation. Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
And once
So-
we start doing it regularly, then it becomes part of habit. Then
That's
it
a
will
great idea.
automatically come to us.
Yeah, yeah. So then
That's
we can.
good. So
yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Right, yeah. So one more question I have is like I used to apply oil in my nose every day. Especially during this pollen period and all that springtime. So I believe we should not do both. I mean, if we do Jalneti in the morning, we should apply oil in the evening, not at the same time. Is that correct? I can mix it. Right.
Yeah, and when in the morning you're not going to be mixing, just like they say oil and water don't go together. So yeah, if you put it in the night, it should be okay. But in the morning, you will do it with water, and then later on, you do whatever you do. I mean, like in terms of keeping it.
I usually put oil in my nose at night when I'm
Right.
sleeping.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not every day. Like I've kept the oil next to on my nightstand. I have like 2-3 bottles of oil, sesame oil, almond oil, Jyotishmati tel, whatever, even the Anu tel. And sometimes I'll put it, Yeah. So
why do you put the oil? Like you just smear it? Smear
no, with
inside?
a dropper. You need a dropper to put by 2-3 drops of oil on both the oil nostrils. And it lubricates the lining. It doesn't let the purpose of oil. Think about what is the oil doing. So oil is a moisturizer. So it will lubricate the lining. It will not let pathogens make their homes. Mucus is basically they get under the mucus and they make their homes there, right? So if you put oil, even oil pulling, think of oil pulling.
Yeah,
also,
oil pulling. Yeah.
right? Same thing. What we are doing is we are telling pathogens bye-bye. Please don't live here. We don't want you here. And when we make those cells healthy, the oils are protective barriers for cells. So oils, putting oils on our body, on our skin, abhyanga, massage, apne aap, do it yourself.
Yeah, that I know, but I've never heard of the nose. That's why I was
Nasya is
asking.
part of panchkarma. Yeah.
Oh,
part of
panchkarma.
cleansing.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and this Vaman therapy, Jalneti and Kunjal Kriya is part of Vaman Kriya, which is part of Panchkarma in Ayurveda. So yes, so oils are for softening the release of toxins. When you soften the body, soften the tissues from inside, toxins are eliminated. So in a way, doing the Nasya at night, followed by Jalneti in the morning, makes sense. So you're loosening, you're giving at night time for everything to get loose, right? And then you just flush it out in the morning with Kunjal and Jalneti.
We should do a session on oils. I mean, I think there's a lot you can do externally, internally.
Because you're very right. Oils are a
Yeah.
whole world in
So
itself.
when you
and
put
so
oil
important.
in your nose, if you don't do Jalneti, is it okay just to do it in the night, just the oil?
Yes.
No Jalneti, but just the oil to keep it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but Jalneti is doing a lot more than oil, right? I mean, so they're different purposes. They're not exactly replacing each other, so to say.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah, that is easier to do, they put the oil.
But Vikas is right. Listen to what Vikas has said. Don't use it as a substitute to Jalneti.
No, not as a substitute, but just because I don't get much of any sinus. I don't get anything. And I use coconut oil for my body, hair, and everywhere I have. But I just wanted for the nose, I thought, to make it little more, just clean or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you'll feel again, it's just like you may say, I'm healthy, so should I exercise, right? I mean, but you will feel better. If you do that, you will feel even better. You may not realize what you're missing out because without actually doing it. So let's try it.
I'm 75 now, so that's why I said all this is too much. So a little bit, I can do what I can do. I'm going to be 76 now.
Yeah, no, but stay fit, right? That's great. You're doing so well, Deepa.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not a bad idea to do it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And the other thing, advantage of Jalneti is mouth breathing. A lot of children do mouth breathing. So, and mouth breathing is very, very bad. And I did not know much when my children were little, and I noticed that they mouth breathe a lot. If I knew everything that I know now, maybe I would have done better service to them. But anyway, so I just want to, if your children are little, please notice how they breathe. Do they keep their mouth open when they are sleeping, or during the day also? When they are not talking or eating, is their mouth open? That's not a good idea.
A session on breath. In fact, did it at my office recently. I gave a talk on breath, and it was very well received. Just keeping it very simple. So maybe in May, because rest of the month is crazy for me.
Yeah.
So maybe we can, we should line up a bunch of topics, and just at least once every month, we can just talk about some topic. So breath is one of the topics because you are just alluding to exactly one of the things in that where, you put a tape and everything. So we'll go there. Let's talk about it in May.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do this regularly now, these Zoom sessions on different topics. Yes,
right,
I agree. Right. So Jalneti is helpful for mouth breathing also. People, mouth breathers, it will stop. Yes, touch me. Oh, okay. Thumbs up. Okay.
Uh,
I thought you wanted to say something too.
uh,
Okay, so is there any other question?
I want a question. You said about children doing Jalneti. How about old age? I mean, about the age of 80 or 85 or something, you know, I mean,
As long as there are no issues that we just discussed, it is perfectly safe for everybody at any age to do Jalneti.
Okay.
And it's good because it sharpens the brain. It will keep your memory sharp.
okay,
No
I have
question
a
of
question.
dementia or Alzheimer's.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I have a congestion right now. So can I put oil in the nose to help me? Both my
Yes,
nose are
but you have to
congested.
put Anu tel or Jyotishmati tel mixed with almond oil. For
Mixed with
congestion,
almond.
those are the ones that are recommended. Even
Okay.
mustard oil. Mustard
Mustard, oh
oil,
yeah, I have mustard. Yeah.
mustard also helps, but make sure
Okay.
it's good. अब घानी तेल कहाँ से लेके आए? You know, bull pressed, bull driven.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ayurveda also recommends ghee, right? I mean, so ghee is also, you can basically melt the ghee and then put a drop or two on the
Yes.
nostrils.
In the nose. Yes.
Thank you.
I use sesame oil. I don't know if it is
Yes, of
right.
course. Sesame oil is excellent. Excellent. Actually, any oil which is made well is good for us.
Can you
Okay.
put coconut oil?
In the nose, I have not heard of coconut oil being put in the nose. You know, like oil pulling also now people use oil for oil pulling, coconut oil, but the best oils again for oil pulling is sesame oil, and sometimes I use mustard oil also for oil pulling too.
Oh, I've used coconut oil for oil pulling.
Yeah, you can use it. Yeah. Yeah.
The organic, organic one we can explain. From me.
Thank you, Vikas, so much. And if there aren't any more questions, we can end now.
Get your pots. I mean,
Yes,
if you.
those of you who don't have the neti pot, get it from your local pharmacy or Whole Foods, whichever one you want to try with, this one or that. And tomorrow at 5:30, we will meet again.
Yeah, so tomorrow, since we're doing it live, and I'm sorry that you guys are having to all wake up so early if some of you are not used to, but otherwise, I mean, yeah, you do it at your whatever time you wake up. I mean, when you do it on your own. But and then, as Chavi said, yeah, we can all, just basically give a thumbs up when we do it on the weekends, and we'll have a way to just acknowledge that yes, we did it.
Yes, we'll do it again next week after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 5:30 Pacific time and Central time 7:30 and 8:30 on Eastern Coast. Sri Lakshmi 8:30.
Yes. But I mean, and
thank you
go ahead.
very much. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
very much.
Chat.
Questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
No questions. Fine.
Okay, so we'll start. We'll do it. We'll try to keep it at 5:30 and then try to finish it in 30-45 minutes. I mean, because I know just it will be otherwise becoming a challenge for some of us, right? So
I'll send you the Zoom link for 5:30 tomorrow. Actually, this should work too. The same link will work, right? Even though the time is not right? It should work, right?
it should work.
Or do
I
you want
think
me to
so.
set up a new one?
This should
Well,
be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, we'll set up a new one. I mean, and do we have a different group, WhatsApp group, or no? I guess
No, this is I'll send it to everybody here, whoever joined today.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah. So I just come like a little before, 5 minutes before, 10 minutes, and then keep your water ready. Keep your water ready and then join 5 minutes before. If the link doesn't work, I'll quickly send a new link.
Yeah. Before that, yeah, it'll be great if you can have the water ready so we can just get started right away.
And it's okay if you're in your pajamas.
Shabi, I will be in office that time, so I won't be able to join tomorrow. But I'm going to try it in the morning.
Please.
Before I Yes.
Yes.
I will let you know. If I have questions, I will reach out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, Banu.
yeah.
I'm not that early morning person, so can I do it later on? I mean, on my own, and maybe I
Yes. You can do it later on. That's fine.
But it has to be early in the morning, or it has to be, I mean,
Before
during the day?
eating, before breakfast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then let us know
Yes.
on WhatsApp, on our group that you've done it.
Yes. I will let you know.
So you
Definitely.
have to do both. Kunjal followed by Jalneti.
Okay. So, okay. Okay.
Everybody here today is going to do both, right?
Okay. So
No,
Kunjal
I
will be
will do only Kunjal.
Kunjal will be
Oh,
first.
No
Kunjal,
Yeah.
Jalneti pot. Yeah.
why?
Kunjal will be first, and then the
Jalneti.
yes.
Nilima,
I don't have the pot with me.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, but then do
Okay.
it next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slowly
Thank you.
I'll join. Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so much.
Vikas, and thank you everybody for joining.
Bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank
See
you,
you tomorrow.
Vikas and Chavi.
Yes.
Good luck.
Right.
Uh-huh.